20 years since Princess Diana died. Hard to believe. But to William and Harry, she was simply the best mom in the world.
Lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother.
For years, the world has been drawn to the mystery surrounding Princess Diana. But now, something new has come to light. Prince William recently opened Princess Diana's jewelry box, and what he found inside brought him to tears. Reports say it was about a side of Diana's life that had stayed hidden until now. And many believe that this discovery could change the way the royal family sees her story. So what exactly did Prince William find? And why is it making headlines across the world? Join us as we reveal what was inside Princess Diana's jewelry box and why it left her son so shaken. What Prince William found in Diana's jewelry box. While preparing for a renovation at Kensington Palace, Prince William discovered a secret diary belonging to Princess Diana, sealed behind a hidden panel in her private study. The pages were written during the final year of her life. But what was inside wasn't just personal reflection. It was prophecy, confession, and a direct challenge to the monarchy itself. Stay with us as we open the diary no one was ever meant to read. One of the things Princess Diana revealed in her secret diary was how she cried her eyes out in the early days of her marriage. It wasn't the kind of sadness that came from cold feet or wedding nerves. This was something deeper. Right after Princess Diana's engagement, while the world celebrated her as the future queen, she found herself overwhelmed and breaking down in private. Behind palace walls, Diana felt cut off from everything familiar. The rules never seemed to end, the pressure was heavy, and the love she had hoped to find in her new life wasn't there. She went from being a quiet, shy young woman to someone the whole world was watching, almost overnight. That sudden change left her feeling confused and alone. Her 1981 wedding looked like a perfect fairy tale to the world, but deep inside, she felt like a scared girl acting out a part she didn't understand. That early feeling of being emotionally ignored quietly shaped everything that happened next. She also wrote about the moment she found a bracelet, one that wasn't meant for her. It had been specially made by Charles for Camilla, engraved with the letters F and G, their secret nicknames. That discovery opened her eyes to a reality she had hoped wasn't true. Camilla was still very much part of Charles's life. Diana had overheard their private conversations and sensed a closeness that had never really ended. The bracelet only confirmed it. What was supposed to be a marriage between two people was, in her words, already too crowded. After that, their marriage started to fall apart. Even though they smiled in public, behind closed doors, Diana felt hurt, embarrassed, and emotionally distant. But it didn't end there. In her diary, Princess Diana shared how everything she was going through led her into a darker time. She started turning her pain inward, and that's when bulimia began. She said she was asking for help, but didn't know how to show it. The eating disorder became a silent way to deal with the hurt, a way to express pain that no one noticed. It was brought on by stress, feeling rejected, and always feeling like she wasn't good enough. She even said that Charles once made a comment about her weight, and it hurt her more than anyone knew. For years, she struggled quietly. But later, when she spoke publicly about her battle with bulimia, it helped change how people talk about mental health, especially for women. Her openness made others feel understood too, according to the princess's recorded diary. There were times when the loneliness was too much to handle. After she gave birth to William, instead of feeling happy and close to others, she felt even more alone. She said the palace felt cold and strict, where everything was controlled by staff and schedules, not by love or care. She would walk through the halls by herself or stay in her room and cry. The loneliest she ever felt wasn't during faraway trips or when the media was all around her. It was inside her own home. The birth of her son should have brought her joy and comfort, but instead, it showed her how little support she really had. That deep feeling of being alone pushed her to look for connection outside the palace, wherever she could find it. One of her biggest wishes was for her children to have what she never had. She wanted William and Harry to grow up not just safe, but loved and free, and she made sure of that. She took them to school herself, let them join her on royal trips, and hugged them in public, even though that wasn't usual in the royal family. Some people in the palace didn't like how she raised them, but she didn't care. For her, showing love was a must. She wanted her boys to feel the kind of love she had missed. That love stayed with them. In one of the most heartbreaking confessions, she described throwing herself down a flight of stairs while pregnant with William. It wasn't about wanting to die, it was about needing to be seen. Charles had become increasingly distant, and she was desperate to get some kind of emotional response from him, even if it came through fear. But he didn't react the way she hoped. Even after something so alarming, she said he remained cold and removed. The baby survived the fall unharmed. Over time, Diana became tired of how the royal family treated her. They wanted her to smile, wave, and stay quiet. But she decided she couldn't stay silent anymore. She started doing things her own way. While others avoided people with AIDS, Diana visited them, hugged them, and held their hands without gloves. She went to war zones to meet landmine victims and even walked through minefields herself. Her kindness wasn't for show. It was her way of standing up for what she believed in. The public loved her for it, but many in the palace thought she was a troublemaker, someone who didn't follow the rules. She stopped waiting for approval and decided to tell her own story. In 1991, she secretly recorded tapes for journalist Andrew Morton. Those recordings became the book Diana, Her True Story, which shocked the royal family. Years later, this was the very recording Prince William would rediscover, its pages now carrying even more weight than before. She also did a famous BBC interview with Martin Bashir, where she spoke honestly about her pain. It was the first time a royal had opened up like that. For Diana, it was a relief. For the royals, it caused a major problem. Her already weak relationship with Charles ended for good soon after. However, in August 1997, Diana and Dodi had a car crash in Paris while being chased by photographers. The news shocked the world. But beyond the tension with Prince Charles and the emotional pain she endured in her marriage, Diana's diary also touched on years of rumors, revealing the truth about the men she was romantically involved with. Yes, she wrote about them too. And we know you're curious. Stay with us, because we're about to uncover a side of Princess Diana's story that very few have ever heard, and it just might blow your mind. Princess Diana's secret loves. A lot has been said about how Princess Diana got romantically involved with other men during and after her marriage to Prince Charles. Now, in the diary she recorded, one that Prince William later found hidden inside her jewelry box, everything was revealed. The first man Diana fell in love with, aside from Prince Charles, was Barry Manicky, her bodyguard. He had been assigned to protect her in 1985. At the time, Diana was only a few years into her royal duties, and already struggling with loneliness and emotional neglect in her marriage. Barry was different. He was kind, attentive, and never treated her like she was made of glass. She started confiding in him during long drives and quiet afternoons. According to tapes Diana later recorded for biographer Andrew Morton, she said she had fallen deeply in love and even called Barry the greatest love she ever had. Their relationship, while possibly never physical, was strong enough to be noticed. Royal staff grew suspicious, and within a year, Barry was removed from his duties and quietly reassigned. Diana was crushed. A year later, in 1987, Barry died in a motorcycle accident when a car suddenly hit his bike. He was only 39. The official report called it an accident, but Diana never believed it. In her tapes, she said plainly, "I think he was bumped off." The rumor took hold. Even now, some believe Barry was removed permanently because he got too close. Still, no clear evidence ever surfaced. After Barry was gone, Diana was left with the same cold marriage, the same distant husband. But shortly after, something unexpected happened. In 1986, she met James Hewitt, a handsome British cavalry officer. At the time, Diana was taking riding lessons and Hewitt was her instructor. Their relationship began as friendship, but soon became something deeper. Diana later admitted she loved him and trusted him in a way she hadn't trusted anyone in years. For a while, he gave her a sense of peace. Their affair lasted 5 years. He kept her secrets, and they spent time together away from public eyes. But when Hewitt was deployed overseas and the pressure of keeping the affair hidden grew too heavy, things started to fall apart. By 1991, it was over. The worst part came later when Hewitt began talking. He gave interviews, helped write a tell-all book, and even sold private letters Diana had written to him. She felt betrayed. Hewitt's name stayed in the tabloids for another reason. After Prince Harry was born in 1984, people noticed his red hair and rumors that he might not be Charles's son at all. Hewitt also had red hair, but the timeline didn't match. Diana met Hewitt in 1986, 2 years after Harry's birth. Biologically, it was impossible. Besides, red hair runs in Diana's family, the Spencers. Her brother and many cousins had it too. Still, the rumor won't die, despite having no real evidence. By the mid-1990s, Diana had become the most photographed woman in the world. Her marriage was officially over in 1992, and by 1995, she had returned to public life with more independence. Around that time, she met Will Carling, the captain of the England rugby team. They bonded over fitness and charity work, and one gym session turned into several. The affair was short and quiet, but not quiet enough. Carling was married, and when his wife found out, she threatened divorce. The press got wind of it, and the story made headlines. Carling later tried to downplay the closeness, but the damage was done. His marriage ended, and Diana stepped away from the situation. By this time, she was no stranger to scandal, but it still hurt. The attention never got easier. That same year in 1995, Diana visited London's Royal Brompton Hospital. She wasn't looking for love, but that's where she met Dr. Hasnat Khan, a heart surgeon with no interest in fame. He was serious, intelligent, and shy. Diana admired how he dedicated his life to saving others. She called him Mr. Wonderful. Their relationship stayed secret for nearly 2 years. Unlike her past romances, this one had depth and stability. Diana would often sneak out in disguises to visit him. She even considered moving to Pakistan to be with him and talked seriously about marriage. During this time, Diana also considered converting to Islam for Hasnat. She spoke to people close to his family, read about the religion, and even asked Jemima Khan, who had herself converted to Islam after marrying Pakistani cricketer-turned-politician Imran Khan, what the experience was like. Diana wanted to understand what life would be like in a Muslim household, especially as a Western woman. She even visited Hasnat's family in Pakistan more than once, and close friends said she genuinely considered giving up her life in Britain if that's what it took to be with him. It was one of the clearest signs that this relationship, more than any other, was something she was willing to change her entire identity for. But Hasnat didn't want a public life. He believed their relationship couldn't survive the spotlight. In mid-1997, they broke up. Some say it was mutual. Others believe he pulled away. Even after it ended, Diana spoke fondly of him. People close to her believe he was the one she truly wanted to build a life with. Hasnat rarely speaks about her, but when he does, he's always respectful. He said once that her fame was unbearable, and he didn't think they would have lasted under that kind of pressure. Soon after her breakup with Hasnat, Diana crossed paths with Dodi Fayed again. They had met before through his father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, owner of Harrods. But in the summer of 1997, something changed. Dodi invited Diana and her sons to join him on a yacht in the Mediterranean. Photos of them relaxing on the deck, kissing on the beach, filled the tabloids. It's still debated whether Diana was really in love with Dodi or just trying to move on from Hasnat. Mohammed Al-Fayed later claimed they were planning to marry. Some say she was trying to get a reaction from the royal family. Others believe she just wanted someone who understood her new life outside the palace. Whatever the truth was, it all ended on August 31st, 1997. In the early hours of the morning, Diana and Dodi died in a car crash in Paris. Their driver, Henri Paul, had been drinking. They were fleeing paparazzi when the car crashed inside a tunnel. Dodi died at the scene. Diana died hours later in the hospital. Only their bodyguard survived. Just as she recorded the struggles in her marriage and her romantic ties with other men, Diana also spoke about feeling that her life was in danger. These chilling words led many to believe that the crash which ended her life may not have been an accident, but something planned. But how true is this claim? Let's take a closer look at the mystery and conspiracy theories surrounding Princess Diana's tragic death. What you don't know about Princess Diana's death. Even after 28 years, Princess Diana's death has remained a mystery. What was initially reported as a tragic car accident in a Paris tunnel has grown into one of the most enduring and controversial conspiracy cases in modern history. The more people looked into the circumstances, the more questions arose, and the deeper the public suspicion grew. One of the most chilling claims came directly from Diana herself. In a letter written in October 1996, less than a year before her death, she expressed a fear that seemed oddly specific. She wrote that someone was planning an accident in her car, involving brake failure and a serious head injury. The note was kept private until 2003, when her former butler, Paul Burrell, made it public. He said she believed the plan was to eliminate her so Prince Charles could remarry. The fact that the crash involved both a head injury and a car gave the letter new significance. To many, it felt like a warning from beyond the grave. But the letter was not accepted by everyone as authentic. Handwriting experts, royal aides, and even some of Diana's friends were unsure she had written it herself. The letter was on odd paper and didn't match her usual style. Some suggested that Burrell may have written it or added to it to gain attention or financial benefit. The timing of his reveal raised even more suspicion. The debate over the letter's origin has never been settled, leaving its contents complicated. What was not in question, however, was Diana's constant fear that her life was in danger. She had told close friends that she believed her phone was being tapped. In recorded tapes made for journalist Andrew Morton, she said she felt she was being followed. These fears were dismissed at the time as paranoia, but after her death, they became part of a larger picture. Many began to wonder if she had known something no one else did, or if she had been right all along. But that's not all. The man who died alongside her, Dodi Fayed, added another layer of controversy. As the son of Egyptian billionaire Mohammed Al-Fayed, his relationship with Diana was followed closely by the press. After their deaths, Mohammed Al-Fayed claimed that Diana had been pregnant and that the royal family could not accept the idea of a Muslim man as a potential stepfather to the future king. He believed this was the reason she was killed. But the official post-mortem found no sign of pregnancy, and this claim was never proven. Al-Fayed also believed the couple were about to get engaged. He pointed to a ring that Dodi had purchased days before the crash, which he said was an engagement ring. However, some said the ring was simply a gift. Diana's close friends later insisted that she had no intention of marrying Dodi, especially after such a short relationship. She had only known him for a few weeks. Whether she loved him or not, or whether they had a future, remains something only she could have answered. Questions were also raised about the condition of the car they were in. The black Mercedes-Benz they used that night had a questionable history. It had previously been stolen, damaged, and repaired. Experts later said it was unfit for high-speed driving, and some wondered why such a car had been selected for someone as high-profile as Diana. A secure and fully vetted vehicle should have been standard. Yet that night, it was not. Attention also focused on the driver, Henri Paul. French investigators said his blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. That claim changed the tone of the entire story. But there were problems. Just minutes before the crash, Paul was seen walking through the hotel lobby, appearing sober and steady. His friends claimed he was not a heavy drinker, and toxicology experts later questioned the accuracy of the tests. These contradictions made the official narrative harder to trust. There was another layer to Henri Paul's story that deepened the mystery. He was found to have a large amount of money in his bank account, far more than his salary would explain. That led to speculation that he might have been working for intelligence agencies, either French or British. Some believed he had been feeding them information about Diana. Though no concrete evidence was ever produced, the claim was serious enough to become part of formal investigations. Adding to the suspicions was the delay in medical care after the crash. Diana was not immediately taken to the closest hospital. French emergency protocols focus on stabilizing patients at the scene, unlike the quicker transport systems in the UK or US. Diana remained in the ambulance for over 90 minutes before arriving at the hospital. Some critics argue that those lost minutes may have made the difference between life and death. Others believe the delay was part of a larger plan. Even more troubling was the absence of CCTV footage. The Alma Tunnel, where the crash occurred, was located in one of the most surveilled cities in the world, yet not a single camera had usable footage of the crash. Authorities claimed the cameras were either turned away or not recording. That explanation didn't sit well with the public. The idea that a major city had no video evidence of such a high-profile event seemed unlikely. Then came the mystery of the white Fiat Uno. Witnesses reported seeing a small white car that clipped the Mercedes just before the crash. Traces of white paint were found on the wreckage, along with a broken taillight. Despite years of searching, the car and its driver were never identified. Some claimed the car was part of a deliberate setup, but its disappearance kept fueling the idea that someone didn't want the full story to be known. In 2008, the British inquest reached its conclusion. After 6 months of hearings, the jury ruled that Diana and Dodi died due to unlawful killing, caused by the reckless driving of Henri Paul and the pursuing paparazzi. The ruling said the crash was caused by serious carelessness, but it didn't find any proof of a conspiracy. Still, many people felt the full truth wasn't told. Some important questions were left unanswered. For those who believed something more was going on, the ruling felt like only part of the story. One of the biggest theories was that British intelligence was involved. A police investigation called Operation Paget looked into over 100 claims, including ones about MI6. A former spy said the crash looked like plans he'd seen before in intelligence documents. Mohammed Al-Fayed, Dodi's father, often said MI6 planned the crash. But in the end, Operation Paget didn't find any real proof. The claims were dismissed, but suspicions remained. Another thing that raised questions was how quickly Diana's body was embalmed. This happened before doctors could check if she was pregnant. Some officials said the embalming was done for respect and hygiene, since her body was on display, but others thought it may have been a way to hide a pregnancy. Whether it was just routine or something more suspicious became another debate. There was also a detail about her seatbelt. Diana wasn't wearing one when the crash happened. That likely made her injuries worse. Friends said she normally always used a seatbelt. Some people wondered if the seatbelt was broken or tampered with. There was no official answer, but it added to the feeling that too many odd things happened that night. Over the years, Diana's death has been studied over and over. Official reports say there was no plot. But for many people, the doubts never fully went away. Too many strange things happened too quickly, and too many questions were never clearly answered. Do you think Prince William finding Princess Diana's diary again will change anything? Share your opinions with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen, and you will enjoy it.